Hi dear students, in this lecture we are going to discuss the basic debit credit rules. When we discuss the debit credit rules, the simplest definition is that the debit and credit are the alphabets of accounts. It means that every transaction recorded in financial accounting will use these two alphabets, debit and credit. So, to record the transaction, we categorize the transaction into 5 main heads: assets, liabilities, expense, income, and capital. The rules are applied as follows. If an asset increase as a result of a particular transaction, it will be recorded as debit, and if it decrease as a result of particular transaction, it will be recorded as credit. And if in a transaction a liability increases, it will be recorded as credit, and if it decreases, it will be recorded as debit. Increase in expense will be recorded as debit, and decrease in expense will be recorded as credit. Increase in income will be recorded as credit, and decrease in income will be recorded as debit, and increase in capital will be recorded as credit, and decrease in capital will be recorded as debit. So these are the basic principles to record a transaction. And you have to remember that every transaction has two aspects. If we define the transaction, it is exchange of property. Now the property is something which is physical. It is not necessary that every time you exchange something which is physical in nature, which is touchable. For example, you hire a salesman or an agent. You hire an agent and you pay him for definite service. So what is being exchanged? You hired an agent and you are paying him for definite service. So you are receiving service, and in exchange you are paying cash. So receipt of service is your expense, and payment of cash is an asset which is decreased. So your expense is increased in this transaction, and your cash, that is an asset, is decreased in this transaction. So when asset is decreased, it will be recorded as credit, and your expense is increased, so it will be recorded as debit. So you have to remember that every transaction has debit and credit. It is not possible that in a single transaction you have two debits and no credit, or you have two credits and no debit. It is not possible. Now, when we have categorized the transaction, it is very useful to understand the meaning of these categories. When I say assets, what is meant by asset? So the normal reply is that machinery is an asset, building is an asset, cash is an asset. These are the definitions. This is not the definition of an asset. These are the examples of an asset. We have to define what is an asset. So let's define these categories. The first category is asset. The value of goods or services receivable. Beg your pardon for any spelling mistakes. The value of goods or services receivable. For example, you purchased a machine which manufacture toys. You are going to start the business of toys, and you paid pound 1000 for that machine. You have not paid for the iron or steel or any other material used in that machine. This pound 1000 is for those services, for those goods. Here the goods are toys which you are going to receive over the year. For example, the machine can be used for 5 years. So pound 1000 is paid for the toys you will manufacture by using this machine. Today, for example, 1st April 2021, you have paid pound 1000, but you have not manufactured the toys yet. The goods mean toys are yet receivable. That's why this machine is called an asset. So every item that you purchase, for example, you purchase furniture and you are going to use it over the year in your business, the amount paid for that furniture is against the services that you are going to receive over the years. And the second expense, second category, expense. Now the same services receivable are going to be received over the years. So expense is defined as the value of goods or services received. What is the difference? When the goods are receivable or services are receivable, that means you have paid an amount for something, that something is goods or services which are receivable, then it is asset. But if you are paying the amount and you have received the services, it is your expense. So rent paid at end of month, pound 200. Rent paid in advance, pound 100. What is the difference? Rent paid at the end of the month, pound 200. It is expense. You are incurring the expense. Your expense is being increased. It will be recorded as debit. But when rent is paid in advance, you have not received the services. Services are still receivable. And when services are receivable, it is asset. Asset increased, so again it will be recorded as debit. In both cases, you have paid cash. Cash is an asset. Cash is decreased. It will be recorded as credit. The next step, what will happen in next month? The rent paid in advance, in current month or at the start of the month, the services are receivable. But at the end of the month, services are being received. So the services received, the asset will convert into expense. Now the main point is that there are certain items which are used over the years are clearly assets, and it is very easy to remember them. For example, machinery, fixtures, premises, vehicle, etc. But there are other payments where you have to apply the concept. Rent normally treated as an expense, but when it is paid in advance, it is not an expense because services are receivable. Moving on to other categories. The third category is income, value of goods or services provided, and let it link with liability, value of goods or services to be provided. When you have provided the services, again one more thing, whether cash paid or not, there is no link between income, expense and cash. Expense means the value of goods or services received, whether cash paid or not. Here it is sorry, whether cash received or not. If you have provided the services, for example, goods sold on credit, you have not received on credit means you have not received the amount yet, still it is income. Income has increased, it will be recorded as credit. Why it is income? Because you have provided the goods, whether cash received or not. There is no link between cash and income. Liability, value of goods or services to be provided. If you receive advance from any customer, but you have not provided goods to him, goods have to be provided, so it is not your income, though it will later convert into income, but at the moment it is not your income. You have received advance, goods are to be provided, it is your liability, and liability is increased. You will record it as a credit but as a liability. And the fifth head is capital or equity. Simply it is owner's investment in business. So if you are clear with the definition, then it will be very easy for you to put up certain transaction under different categories, whether it is an asset, whether it is a liability, is it an income, is it a capital. And once you have categorized the transaction and the two aspects of the transaction, debit and credit, will be applied, so it will be very easy for you to record the transaction according to the rules.